Mesdames, Messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, accueillons nos Canadiens.
Suzuki in, score!
How my stars called Capital ties it.
The Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Curfew Boys. We are live on YouTube. Your host tonight, Anthony, with Fireman Sam in the house. What's
Hey
up,
now,
Sammy boy?
hey now, hey now. Good
Hey
to see
now,
you,
hey
Ant. How are
now.
you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, we could complain, but I choose not to complain.
we could complain about you know what? I would say we could complain about tonight's game, but I think out of all the losses we've seen tonight from the Montreal Canadiens, I don't think there's much to complain about this one, in my honest opinion.
True, but I just feel like I think the first two periods they played pretty well. They was very defensive, as you can see.
Yeah.
Both teams were keeping it very close. I think the first period was like the shots on net was 2-on-1.
It was like
2-2.
4-1 shots. Like I do not recall the last time I ever saw the Montreal Canadiens hold the opposition to a total of 4 shots in the first period.
Yeah,
That to me is wild.
it was nice to see.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. It was nice to see, comparing it to the last 10, 15 games where they were getting outshot.
hmm
And now seeing them holding just 4 shots in this first period, it was nice to see. And then again, second period they kept it close. But then again, third period they fell into old habits again. They just took their foot off the pedal, and
Yeah,
you
I
know
think
that
y-
4-minute penalty didn't.
yeah,
help.
that 4-minute penalty, yeah, I think it's they were on such they played it so well, and with 4 seconds left, Marco Rossi snipes it in, and that to me was just like even I if that deflated the team, I think that deflated the fan base.
Well, the momentum just dropped.
Oh my god, yeah, and you just felt it, and you it's one of those unfortunate things where it's Jaden Struble, like he wanted to create a rushing chance. He almost had it was almost a 3-on-2, but it's just you kind of show that like Struble's talents is not really on the offense, and I'm not blaming him for wanting to rush the play, but you got to control your stick, when you're entering the zone and when you lose the puck and all that. So no, on the overall, it was just yeah, you could kind of say it fell into those old habits of penalties and all that. But like, you know what? We could say that too, but like tonight the Canadians on the power play, like just there was nothing going on. They had nothing going on for them. I honestly, there's lots of people on social media like questioning Kirby Doc being on the first power play. There's lots of people questioning Mike Matheson on the first power play. So there's lots of things to think about. And you know what I mean? Like if anything, I thought the Canadians 5-on-5 tonight was amazing. And their penalty kill was not so bad either up until that Marco Rossi goal. Otherwise it would have been perfect. But yeah, it's I got to give credit to Gustafsson, the goalie. Like he made some. I don't think the Canadians really challenged him that much, but he still made saves when he had to. But a lot of the shots, like those were Thomas Plekanec like type shots, just right at the fucking logo of the jersey. And you know what I mean? It's just one of those nights where like the effort was there. There was intensity. There was a bit of sense of urgency. It's just again that penalty on already a 4-minute penalty like takes away a lot of the guys in the top 6 having to play, and it just that goal just deflated them.
Yeah, and I actually thought they were gonna fight that. I mean, they scored with 2 seconds left. It was like the last shot before the penalty
Yeah,
ended.
it was the Rossi scored. Yeah, there was like 4 seconds left.
Yeah,
It
and I think if they would have fought that whole penalty, I think the momentum would have boosted up,
oh
and we
big
probably
time.
would have had a
Oh,
chance to tie the game.
yeah, that changed the game. That deflated the team.
I want to ask you, what do you think is the problem? Watching, like for example, watching tonight's game, I know there was a lot of positives. I
Hmm.
mean, especially the first two periods. Again, comparing it to how the season started, right?
Hmm.
Not getting outshot,
Hmm.
keeping it very tight, keeping it
Hmm.
close. But I'm still looking at this team and I'm saying there's something missing. Now, we can go back and say, lack of experience, the team is still young, blah, 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 blah. But I think that excuse is starting to get redundant saying it over and over again because these
Yeah.
guys played together last year.
Hmm.
They should be better than last year. And we're not seeing that. Like, just a perfect example. Slavkovsky came out strong last year.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the best players in the team last year. He was the player that we all expected him to be. All those shots, all those goals, all that firepower.
Hmm.
And this year, I haven't seen anything from him yet.
Well, if I recall, Slavkovsky, he started coming out of his shell. If we're talking about last season, towards mid-November, end of November, beginning of December, if memory serves me correctly. So, and if you look at it now, like he's like it's so funny how Slavkovsky, him too, he only has one goal, but he's got like I think 10 assists. So he has like 11 points in 13 games. Something like that. Make that if make that maybe 11 points in 14 games now with tonight's loss. Again, I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's like it's a quiet thing. And I look at the way he played against Buffalo, like that was the power forward Slavkovsky we wanted to see. Like the 3 assists, helping Suzuki get 2 goals within a final minute of a period just by being physically dominant. Like that's the Slavkovsky you want, and it's got to be consistent. Now,
Well, last
again,
game was a perfect game all across the board,
for
and
him, yes,
for
and
him and
and
everybody else. But it's you said it, the consistency. I
it's
think
it's
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 lacking
it's got to be
at this point.
consistent. And again, he's still 20 years old. Like he's still working on his game. And the question is, like, can these guys do it for a total of 82 games? You ask me what do I think the problem is? To me, I just think I think there's a lack of confidence with a lot of guys right now. I think one of them being Alex Newhook. I think so many times tonight he had good scoring chances. Like he placed himself in the right place for a one timer, completely missed it. There was one play where he was in the slot. He was waiting to see what Cole Caulfield was going to do, and he just kind of like fanned on his shot a little bit. I really think it's a lack of confidence. To me, the one player that I'm calling it the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I truly believe Kirby Doc is not confident right now. I really think he's probably the forward with, I don't want to say the lowest amount of confidence, but you could tell he's not all there yet. You could tell. I personally don't think he's fully healthy in the sense. I, Listen, not playing a full season last year really is hurting him. Like again, like no pun intended as well. I really think it's affecting him this year. I think we still need a bit of time. He still has to get many games in. Like this season needs to pass, and then next year, like we need to see where Kirby Doc is, and maybe who knows? Maybe the second half of the season, Kirby Doc suddenly wakes up and starts maybe scoring a couple of goals here and there. Bless you.
I thought I was on mute.
Bless you.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Thank you.
No, like I I want to be patient with Doc, but the other issue with Doc too is like determining what is he? Is he a centerman now? Is he a winger? Like he looks a lot more comfortable on the wing compared to the center. But again, like tonight, just he looked not lost and confused, but like on the power play, like he's a step behind, and his overall game is a step behind to everybody else. And I think it's to be expected because of his injury last year. Like fucking the yeah, I just think that injury really slowed him down this year. I don't think he's fully conditioned yet the way he can be at his peak. So I really think it's a confidence thing. I think and I think defense is just overthinking, man. Like I don't understand how we can make little mental errors on defense every freaking game. It's again, Lane Hudson's going to make mistakes. He's so young in this league. He's still a rookie, but look at what he does offensively.
You
It's
see, that's the thing. He's making mistakes and it's normal for a young rookie, that especially his technically first full season this year. But yet he's still one of the best players on the
he
ice.
was the best player, dude. 1,000%. I really believe he was. Listen, he was definitely the best Montreal Canadiens player on the ice in the offensive zone. If we're gonna talk technicalities here, he definitely was the Canadiens' best player on the ice in the offensive zone. You could argue maybe he was the best player in the game almost as far as scoring chance concerns. Like, I don't know what the heck what more this kid needs to do to get his first NHL goal. Like, he's deking everybody under the sun, including the guy selling hot dogs in the hot dog stands, and he still can't score. Like, he's doing everything right. And it's like there's a constant debate about putting Lane Hudson on the first power play, and I want to see him on the first power play, but I kind of get why he's not, because if you put Mike Matheson on the second power play, like, it's useless. It's completely useless, in my humble opinion. Putting Lane Hudson on the second power play gives those other forwards somewhat of a chance, even though I don't like a power play of the second power play of Newhook, Armia, um, Gallagher, and Heineman. It's like, really, is that really the best you can do on the second power play? That's the players we got. We got to wait for Patrick Laine to come back. Maybe Kirby Dach slides on the second power play. I get why Lane Hudson is there, but I do truly feel and believe that he deserves a shot on the first power play as well. So, yeah,
At this point, you know what? How many games in? Oh, 15, almost 15. Well, 15.
this
Right
got to
now.
be. This has to be is it 16
It's
games
a little
now?
over 15. Okay, so
Mhm.
and you had said it too at the beginning of this season that at the 15 game mark we will see the true colors of this team, and
Yeah,
I mean,
it's where
is this what's going to be rest of the season? Are we going to get that turnaround spark? Hopefully, when Liney comes in, maybe that will spark up the team.
maybe.
I don't know, but I think right now the biggest problem is our star players are not showing up. They're nowhere to be found.
Mm,
Yes, Caulfield is. He's putting in those points and goals, but he's the only one.
yeah,
When you
I
have
think.
Gallagher performing better than everybody else and holding down the fort,
Well,
it's a fucking problem.
that picture that was circulating on social media, uh, it's not Quebec construction site, but it's typical example of Quebec construction. Uh, that my what was it?
Yeah, the whole
It's
team
it's it's
just
it's it's all construction workers standing outside the ditch while there's one worker in,
and it's
and
Gallagher.
it's Gallagher's the guy working in the ditch while all the
But
others are
that's
just
but that's
standing
a, but
around.
that's
And yeah,
it's funny to see, but it's a problem to have because look, as much as you and I, especially not Joey, but we love Gallagher, we still have hope in him, and we still see some good potential in this guy.
hmm
And I mean, Gallagher is a player that we this year so far is a player that we've hoped to continue seeing, right? The
hmm
guy, he's performing the way we always pictured him to perform. Not the Gallagher from years ago, but
yeah,
he's,
yeah.
whatever. But all this to say, to side with Joey here, when you have Gallagher, your best player,
As one of your best players is a
as
bit of
one
a
of your best
problem.
players,
Yeah,
there is a problem with this team.
yeah.
Suzuki is nowhere to be found. Slavkovsky, we spoke about him.
We
He's
don't
nowhere to
have
be found.
so like, yeah, I know you're saying our star players aren't there. Like, I mean, look, Caulfield is doing what he's doing. He's one of the top goal scorers of the league. I think now him and Kaprizov are tied. I don't know. I think Kucherov scored, so maybe Caulfield dropped in terms of the rankings, but he's still one of the top goal scorers of the league. And Suzuki's a point per game, and obviously they got shut out tonight. But and Slav is like it's a quiet thing, but once in a while he's physically dominant. The problem with the Canadiens, there's no there's no second line scoring, and that's why Marty put Caulfield on the second line to give that one a bit of a spark. And I love Jake Evans. I think he's the unsung hero of this team, but he's not a second line centerman. Like, he's not. And we needed Doc to be that second line centerman, but unfortunately, he's nowhere to be found. And again, I get with the injury and all that, that's the issue. We're not getting more goals from the rest of our top six. It's only coming from Caulfield and Suzuki. And, basically out of the six, we're only getting 2.5 of our players putting in the goals. Newhook is considered our top six. Like, he's not, he's got 4 goals, but he's not really, hold on, I'm going to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he does have 4 goals. Yeah, Newhook has 4 goals in 16 games, but he also has 4 points in 16 games. It's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
So, you know what I mean? And that's what they need. Like, Doc is not doing anything. And then Liney got injured, so who replaces him on the top 6? Like, it's right now it seems to be Gallagher, because like you said, he's scoring goals. He's got 6 goals on the season. There's just it's and you know what, you said this in the Habs Caves episode. There's still no identity yet. There's still that I think that more than anything is missing. But I also do believe that it's yet to be fully established, because we still have guys in Laval right now that are doing very well that will be part of this team in a year or two.
Okay, so
and hopefully when that happens, an identity of this team will finally be established. But no, they don't have an identity right now.
Okay, so speaking of Laval, and we'll get into the questions and comments from our fans on Instagram. So we have here Ryan Mancini's _ thanks for your message. Thanks for your support. He wrote, "Send Struble down and bring Logan back up."
Dude, Struble, in all honesty, he's struggling. I thought he struggled tonight, and I thought out of the defensive pairing between Struble and Jackeye, I thought Jackeye was the much better defenseman, and I actually liked Jackeye tonight. I thought he played a very, very simple game on defense, which is okay. And I know his time on the ice is look, he played 45 seconds more or less. Like, he had 13 minutes and 37 seconds. Jackeye. Struble 12 minutes and 48 seconds of ice time, and he had the most hits. I think Jackeye, he had the most hits on the entire team. No, Doc. Surprisingly enough, Doc had 4 hits. Huh, interesting. Well, what am I looking at here? Yeah, hits. 3 hits. 3 hits. Where's hits? I'm looking on the NHL website. Yeah, Doc had 4 hits amongst the 4. It's interesting. But Jackeye had the most hits amongst the defensemen with 3. I thought he had a better game. You could send Struble down because he doesn't have to clear waivers, but they got to do that soon, because he's only got, like, I think if he plays another oh my god, I saw this on a Cap Friendly replica site. Remember Cap Friendly?
Yeah.
There's I don't know if it's was it Puckpedia or Cap Wages. The Struble doesn't have that many games left, and if he plays, don't fully quote me on this, 20 something games, he has less than 30 games to play in the NHL, and then he has to clear waivers from then on. So if they're thinking about it, they got to think about it soon, like sooner rather than later, or else they're not stuck with him, but they won't really have that option. You're gonna have another Justin Barron situation where, we don't want to send him down at the risk of losing him. So it's something they should think about.
Consider, yeah.
Now, the thing about Logan Mailloux, who got the overtime game winner Wednesday night, which was last night, there's this constant. I'm having this constant debate with myself here, because I know the general way of thinking is develop in the minors so they play in the NHL. If they're doing well in the minors, maybe it's time to call them up. But the way I'm seeing Logan Mailloux playing, even though Joshua Ross putting up points, Owen Beck is playing well, those 3 of them playing well, I still can't help but really believe that keep them in Laval. Let them win together. Right now, they're one of the best teams in the minors. Like they only have they only have 2 losses in the entire season. Like I think Pascal Vincent is one of the reasons, but they're still a young team and they're growing together. Like Pascal Vincent is establishing the same culture that Marty was kind of instilling when he first got here, because Pascal Vincent and Marty, from what I understand, they're on the same page. They're on the same level in terms of coaching style and culture that they want to bring to their teams. And it's working in Laval right now. Let the kids win together. Let them grow together, develop together. Let them fight for something that they could possibly win.
So as much as I agree with that statement, um, and that's always something I've said since the beginning with building this new rebuild and this dynasty that I project in the future,
Oh
is
boy.
having these young players grow together and play
Yeah,
together and
yeah.
build that chemistry. And you're right, Laval is one of the best teams in the minors, and they're playing well together. And let's continue that growth so
Mhm.
they're ready for next year. Because these players like Joshua Roy, I think it's time to make it the NHL next year.
Yeah,
You,
absolutely. Next
it's
year,
time to
yeah.
make the NHL.
I'm predicting those 2. I'm predicting Beck, Mayu, and Joshua Roy. Pending that they have a fantastic season in the minors, and if they go to a playoffs, and heck, my goodness, if they even, God forbid, they win the Calder Cup, like whatever happens, I truly believe they could make the Canadians next year.
Yeah, and that being said, I mean, it would be nice to continue playing the rest of the season together. But if I mean, I know it's only 15 games in, and I'm not saying let's throw in the towel. But if the team is still hoping to try to make that fight to make the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to bring some of these players up to make this team better, right? But if we're at that point where, okay, you know what, management said, okay, we're done already, we're gonna tank or whatever you want to call it, and we're not
Yeah,
making the
yeah,
playoffs. I know
yeah,
it's still early on, but
yeah,
just
yeah.
to say, then yes, keep them playing. But I don't think they're ready to throw in the towel. So I do see these players. Maybe that's the spark we need. Maybe
It
bring up
could
these
be
players.
maybe
Or
you
maybe
bring in
lining
young
is
blood.
the key that we need, but is it one player that's going to change the whole fucking team? I don't
Well,
know. Or maybe it's going to give them
maybe.
maybe, and it's going to wake up everybody. So
Well,
I,
let's be
I
let's be honest here, Anthony. How excited was not just the city and the fan base of Montreal, but like you felt the excitement from the entire team when Liney was announced that the trade was made to the Canadians. Like there was an excitement in the air, not just amongst the fan base and the city, but you felt like my goodness, like I truly believe there was a like this pump up amongst the players on the team. And you felt it when Line went down, like it really felt like
well,
uh,
the same situation last year with Doc. The team had that
yeah, dude, the
momentum,
same
and
the same thing. It's like it's crazy how Liney was preseason, Doc was game 2 of the season. It's like the when one of your key players that you truly believe could help you reach whatever next level you would like to attain, when that player gets taken out and gets a very bad injury, it feels like the life is sucked out of you.
yes, and
And it's not an excuse,
no, it's
but
not an excuse, but like what I'm saying is that okay, fair, and I think that is a big factor here. But at the same time, how I see it is, you guys are professionals. He's gonna come back.
Mhm.
Let's and I said this episode 3 or whatever it was, or we all said this at one point. We had said, imagine this team plays well up till Liney comes, and they're in that playoff position, and they're doing
Yeah.
fantastic. And then you bring in Liney, and it sparks up the team even more. It'll be one of the best things ever, right? We had said it, hoping that by November, December, when Liney's ready
Yeah,
to
if they
come
could
back,
hold the fort, yeah.
let's hold the fort till then. He comes in and just makes the team even better.
Mhm.
Now we're last place of the league.
Yeah. Like
Zero life in this team. I don't. Do you think like again? Do you think Liney is going to come in and just really turn
I
this
mean
whole team around?
look, I don't know. I personally don't think that
Because all these
I would
players need to step up.
I
Everybody
don't
needs to step up.
well, here's the thing. I don't think I don't right now where the team is at, once Liney comes back, I don't necessarily think he's going to help this team get back into the quote unquote mix, back in the mix. But I think maybe he'll give them a better shot at scoring some goals that they're lacking right now outside of Cole Caulfield and Brendan Gallagher. The other thing, Anthony, and you know what, I've been a bit not heavily critical on Sam Montembeault, but like I thought his best game of the season was the season opener, the one that we were at against the Leafs. That was his best game. Then he had another great game against
I don't think it was
the
that bad
Ottawa.
tonight, though.
Tonight he was very good.
Yeah.
Tonight he was very good, and he needs to play like that all the time.
I don't,
And
those 2 goals, I don't blame him.
I don't know. I can't. I know the first goal definitely can't blame him. It was a very nice tic-tac-toe play between Boldy and Kiprasov, and it was a beautiful play. Like, no, I don't think any goalie could have saved that.
No.
And then the Marco Rossi shot on the power play with 4 seconds left, like he was a bit screened. Like Marco Rossi's got a good shot. He's a good player. That kid. So no, I don't blame Montembeault. He made good saves tonight. I thought he had much better rebound control. I thought he was like in the pocket. He made 2-3 other key saves that kept the team in the game. But that's what the goalies need to do. And I find Montembeault this year so far is not as consistent. But I thought he played a much better game tonight, and he's just got to keep that momentum going. Like he has to keep that play consistent.
Yep.
If he plays like that, he gives them a chance. And if Minnesota doesn't score that goal on the power play, the Canadiens still have a chance. So, we'll continue on with the Instagram. Yeah. So, Vithers, and give us your overall thoughts on the team so far. Now that they played over 15 games. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much said it. Like this, I really think this is who they are right now. But a good question is, what's this team going to be like once Liney comes back in the lineup? Like, I'm really curious to see what that's going to be like. Again,
he's ready soon. No, I think.
Well, he's skating, and you know what? I think it's time to think about putting Raphael Harvey-Pinard in the lineup too. See what kind of energy that guy could bring. And that's another thing too. This team is missing. They don't have a proper fourth energy line, man. They really don't. They don't have a fourth line like the Minnesota Wild have, like that are big, that are physical, that they get in your face and they disturb you. They don't. The Canadiens don't have that. Like, I'm sorry, Lucas Condotta and Heineman and Armia, they're not those types of players. I love Condotta in the minors. I don't think he's an NHL player. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just, I think he's a good leader for the kids in Laval. I really, really do. And for that, I like him. I just don't know. And to me, put Pizzetta in. Can we please put Pizzetta in? Can we have a player that's going to fucking try, that's going to give his heart to make hits and disturb the other players of the other team, please? Can we try that for once?
We said this a couple of times, like a few episodes ago, where when this team showed the physical side, what they're capable of doing, we had more chances, more life on the ice, and more opportunities. Do you think the coaching staff is telling them to not, like, because we had lots of penalties at one point, right? And we were always in the box, and then we were saying, we need more discipline on this team, and blah 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 blah. Do you think maybe that's the reason why we're not seeing the physical side of this team, because they're getting penalized with all these penalties? Like, I'm just trying to understand, because there's no life on the ice anymore. I watched this whole game tonight, and who said it in one of these messages? One of the messages was from Rob Adob Flop Job. Wow, what a name! I love it.
Rob Adob Flop Job on Instagram. What a name! Slow night of hockey.
It was a very defensive game on both
yeah,
ends.
but I really thought it was. I thought it was a very good pace though. Like I thought it was there was a bit of back and forth, but no, like I think I don't know if Marty's having a hard time energizing his players, but I still think that they don't have They don't have the right players to
I'm not saying they have the right players, but we
for
have
that role.
size. 100%, we don't have the right players, but
Hmm.
we have players that have size and that can use it to build some momentum in this game. We've seen it happen. There
Yeah,
were
I mean,
some games
but I mean,
that we've
again,
seen it.
yeah, I get it. Like it's well, you need that from Slavkovsky, which he does that from time to time, and you need that from Doc, which apparently I had no idea Doc had 4 hits, but it's like he was nowhere to be found. And I like what Chris 961 says. How do you like the second line tonight, and how do you feel about Doc's lack of energy? It's like and like even Mateo underscore Di Loretto, Doc has played one good game this season. He shouldn't be near the first line. It's like Marty's trying to find a way to spark these guys. Cole Caulfield, I really thought Caulfield tonight led the second line. He carried that second line. And again, I feel like Newhook set himself up for good chances. But when you lack confidence, man, you grip the stick a little too tight. You fan on your shots. You don't make the right decisions. That's where this team is at. I truly believe it's just a major lack of confidence. Our buddy Joey, the stats man, Lane Hudson doesn't deserve this. You know what? I thought that was a stupid penalty. I like they call a penalty like that, like he's whatever they call roughing, but it's like, come on, like the team is down 2-0 with 3 minutes left. Like, why are you calling that? Meanwhile, the goalie's fucking is pinning Uri Slavkovsky like he's in the
Yeah.
WWE. No call. It's like, I don't know. You know what though, like again, I give credit to the boys tonight for they played hard tonight. Out of all the losses tonight, they played hard. It doesn't show on the scoreboard, but I thought they played hard.
And I'm not going
Again,
to take that away from them. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, there was a lot of. If we're going to talk positive about losses, this was a good
this was one of
loss.
them. Yeah,
You
I
know?
think and you know how we always said like lose with effort. They lost with effort tonight. I
Yes,
truly think
no,
so.
yes and no, because the first two periods, I think if the third period was going to be equivalent to what they did in the first and second and
Hmm.
lost, I'd be like, okay, you're right. But I think I think the third period they just removed their foot from the pedal, from the gas, and that just a little bit of gas missing in the third period just
Yeah,
turned
I,
everything
I, I
off.
think
Maybe is it the 4 minute
I
penalty
don't
that changed everything? Maybe
I
that's
but
it.
I think it was that because otherwise they were still keeping up, and maybe there was maybe a little bit of I don't think they were as focused and concentrated as they were in the first two periods, but I don't think they I personally don't think they slacked the gas pedal a little bit. To me again, it's that 4 minute penalty that ruined it. That to me was the difference maker of the game. Steven dot Werbrook, Dvorak to Laval. I I've lost. I've honestly like it's. I'm talking. I'll talk about Dvorak, the player on the ice, and I know he's probably. I have to check his stats on the faceoff dot amongst the forwards, and like imagine he wasn't even our best one, but he was still actually above 50%. Dvorak was at 57.1, Evans at 72.7. You know what? Thanks for your time, Christian Dvorak, but like he's gonna be one player that
It's time to go.
it's time to go. Like, you know what? And I don't want to sound like an asshole or something, but it's not working for him anymore. And he's making a lot of mental errors. There was a big one on the first goal that kind of put Lane Hudson in a bit of an awkward situation. You send Dvorak to Laval, yeah, okay, great, but at the same time too, it's like we got nobody else at center. Like you put New Hook at center for the fourth line. Like, what good is that going to do for New Hook? They sent Kapanen back to Europe as another centerman. So you keep Condotta as your fourth line center, okay. whatever. It's like it's one of those things. Like no matter what you do, keep Dvorak. It's not going to be good. Send him down. It's not going to be good. It's just that's just what the heck we're going to have to deal with until either the trade deadline or the end of the season. So
All I know is that at this point in time, I didn't expect us to have these kind of conversations. We started off the opening of this podcast of this season with a lot of high hope, a
man, we
lot of
were hyped.
excitement.
I know.
We
I
were
know.
saying this year we're gonna we even had predictions that most of us said they're gonna make playoffs. I said they're not gonna make it by a point.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
now we're like last in this season, zero excitement, zero life in this team. We all predicted 2 to 3 30 goal scorers. We're not even close to that. I mean, we have one that's close to
Oh
it
my
with the Reds.
god.
We had said Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkowski maybe, and Liney was gonna hit it, and Liney's at 0 points. Suzuki's not even close to
Yeah.
30 goals. Like it's just I did not expect this.
But Suzuki, I'm expecting him to pick it up as far as the goal scoring is concerned. Like kind of like the second half of the season. Like and he's consistently been doing that. Like the first like month of October, November, not that many goals, but a lot of assists. December he starts scoring, January, February, March, like he really starts scoring. Like I'm gonna be expecting more or less the same from him. But otherwise, I did not expect the Canadiens to be at the bottom of the standings, 17 games in. I really thought they were gonna. I didn't think they were gonna finish bottom five, which might look like they will this year. You never know; things could still change. As we're only 16 games in, so there's still lots of hockey. I thought they were gonna be bottom 10, but we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. What's the score between Nashville? Because right now the Canadiens are tied with Nashville for bottom place, and there's less than 9 minutes left against the Oilers. Which, by the way, Connor McDavid, 1,000
points.
1,000 point, the fourth youngest. I think he's the fourth youngest player in NHL history after Gretzky, Lemieux, and Mike Bossy were the three youngest players to reach 1,000 points, and McDavid's number 4. Like, it was unreal. Congratulations to Connor McDavid. But yeah, dude, it's it's nuts. I was really hoping when we agreed to do post game shows again for this fucking podcast that we've been doing a lot more wins than we are right now. It is what it is. Dawes_Garage. Not sure what was missing from them tonight.
We're not sure what's missing all season so far.
Oh my god, yeah. No, you know what? Maybe a bit of puck luck, I'd say, was missing from them. They maybe a bit, yeah, a bit more shots. And again, a lot of the shots they took was on the goalie's chest, like maybe not Thomas Plekanec type shots. No disrespect to Thomas Plekanec. I love them. I love this time in Montreal. And did you see the Canadiens haven't won in Minnesota since like March? I don't know what the March of 2011. Did you see dude? The last time the Canadiens won in Minnesota was 2011 in March.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota, yeah. And I remember that game. I remember watching it live.
March 20th, 2011.
March 20th, 2011.
Hat-trick.
Dude, and I remember you know who the goalie was for Minnesota? He was loved by the Montreal Canadiens back in the day. By all of us in high school, too.
Hackett?
Oh, close. No, not Jeff Hackett, but you're close. He was his backup. Jeff Hackett was the backup of this goalie.
Jose Theodore?
Yeah, Jose Theodore. Jose Theodore was the goalie. Can you believe that Jose Theodore was the goalie when PK Subban scored a hat trick against the Minnesota Wild the last time the Canadiens won in Minnesota? Like, can you fucking believe that?
Wait, okay, I might. Wait a second. Who the fuck is
dude?
Alex Auld.
Alex Auld. Yeah, he was our backup to Carey Price.
I don't remember this name whatsoever.
What was his name? Was it Dave Pang from TSN? he would say on TV, he's big, he's bald, he's Alex Ald, and then Alex Ald was like, "Yo, dude, can you stop saying that
Why
about
don't I
me?"
remember this
Oh
name?
yeah, I remember that right before. I think he was the backup before Montoya joined the team. A couple.
Wow, these names are all coming back.
I know. Okay, you want to know names coming back? So that season,
I remember James Wazinski scored that game.
James Wisniewski when they traded for him. Oh my god, dude! But that's like when they had when they had Scott Gomez, Brian Giunta, Mike Camilleri,
Travis Moen, Tom
Travis
Pyatt
Moen. They still had Andre Kostitsin.
was in yeah. Benoit
What-
Pouliot and David Desharnais. Okay, he
yeah.
was
So that year, Plekanec led the team with 57 points in 77 games. PK Subban 38 points and 14 goals. Benoit Pouliot was Newski, Matthew Dalsh, Jeff Halpern, Max Pacioretty. Oh my god, look at this list. This Paul, it's true. Paul Mara was on that team.
crazy.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
All right, last
Wow.
question before we
Yeah.
go. So, well,
Yeah.
actually, first of all, thank you, David. He was on YouTube watching us. He
Yeah,
said
thank you,
exactly
Dave.
what I said before about more shots. He wrote, "My God, they crossed the wild blue line 6-on-5 with less than 2 minutes left and passed the puck 12 times before he took a shot."
Yeah.
They need to shoot more. We said this a couple times in last episodes. We're waiting for that perfect
I-
shot, and I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
And I found a couple of times when they did shoot, like it always goes fucking wide and then it gets out of the zone. Like there's lots of times too that happen. But yeah, they do. They do need to shoot more. Even Caulfield
Last
said he needs to shoot more, and Slav said he needs to shoot more too.
last comment to you, Sammy. And I know your answer, but I want to bring it up again. It's normal to bring this up, even though I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's something that we're gonna have to question.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing against him. Okay, I
Okay.
know Joey does. I don't. You don't.
Oh boy.
But you might come to think about it now. 6 out of 7 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Marty, any other coach would have been gone by this point. Now, this management with the rebuild show and everything, are they going to throw in the towel and make that move, or are they going to try to finish this whole season?
Not this year. I don't see this happening this year. I think they will. So that whole stink with the well, not stink, but like
the hell happened there?
George Larac unfortunately was misinformed by his buddy, thinking that they met with Gerard Gallant, which turned out not to be true. And like George took the biggest social media beating from fans from this fan base ever. Like I laughed about it in the end, and I don't blame George at all. Like I love the guy and I love listening to him and seeing his tweets and all that. I do believe that they're gonna evaluate. Not that they're gonna evaluate Marty as a coach, but I think they're gonna evaluate and see if he's well surrounded within his staff. And I think they would try to suggest bringing in maybe people with a lot of experience in a sense. Now, does that mean, I don't know, does that mean recycling an older coach, someone that used to coach back in the day, and bring him as an assistant? Maybe. I mean, that's what everybody wanted. And when the news broke out that they supposedly were seeing Gerard Gallant, a lot of people got excited. So I think amongst this fan base, majority of it wanted. I think everybody loves Marty as a coach and his philosophy and how he thinks the game. But the lack of experience is starting to show now that it's like the pressure is a little bit on to be in the mix and to make these kids improve their game. I think management is going to reevaluate his assistant coaches, might make a suggestion that, look, we suggest that you try to talk to this guy, see if you could bring him in as a coach. I don't think, however, I don't think they're gonna tolerate everything that's happening now. I don't think they could tolerate that next year,
No,
next
this is
season.
that,
I personally don't think. And again, I truly believe one of the many millions of reasons why they brought in Pascal Vincent. I truly believe because if it really does not work out with Marty, they're gonna bring Pascal Vincent in. And one of the reasons why, well, he's coaching these kids in the minors. If they follow him to the NHL, well, they know his coaching style. They know what kind of culture he wants to bring in. I don't think it's a bad backup plan, but I think they're gonna live and die with Marty for the rest of his contract.
yes, I agree, but I think just to answer the question we've been asking, what's missing in this team and all that stuff. I think I just found the answer, and you just said it.
Mhm.
It's nice and all to have this young team, and I support this, right? I've said it. Build this
Mhm.
team young, let them
Mhm.
grow together, build that chemistry, blah blah blah, right? But when it comes to coaching staff, I don't think having a young coaching staff is the right path, right? Young
Mhm.
players, yes, because in this league there's a lot of young talent, and
Yeah.
that's the new era of hockey. It's the young, right? No more veterans. Everybody's getting old, retiring, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we need to have that young core to build and become that experience. But when it comes to coaching, you can't have a young coaching staff and a non-experienced coaching staff coach a young team with no
A
experience
young
as well,
rebuilding team. Yeah.
right? So like it's a contradiction here because you have young guys who have no experience coaching a young team that has no experience. It doesn't match. So I think management needs to wake up a little bit and say, okay, you know what? Let's put in some veterans or some experience behind the bench to help this young team grow because we have no veterans on the ice besides the Gallagher and whatever. But okay, between me and you, Gallagher's not the guy who's going to help this team grow and
No, no,
build.
no,
You
no,
know,
no, no.
they're gonna help them build character and learn
He's gonna help these guys how to be professionals, how to be professional hockey
exactly.
players in the league. Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
need the experience and the veteran side behind the bench, and I think that's what's missing in this team. I think that's the key right now. I don't want to get rid of Marty. I think Marty still has it in him
Hmm.
to bring this team to glory. I
Yeah.
still think so. I think I I don't want to. I'm not jinxing it or putting my hopes up or talking far ahead, but I think Marty is the coach that will bring us that cup, but not him alone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think he's gonna be the guy raising the cup with us eventually.
Oh my
So,
god. The image is just fucking
but I see it
it's crazy.
happening, but not him alone right now. He
Right.
needs some backup with him. So, even when we were talking about Gallant this week, we had said, I had said you bring down Marty as assistant and Gallant as a
Yeah,
head.
that would
It,
never
it
happen.
would never happen.
Yeah.
But I see Gallant or someone else with that experience come assist with him and help him
Yeah,
help the
hopefully.
team.
Hopefully.
I think that's what we're missing,
I think that could help.
and that's gonna change this team.
We could bring Kirk Mahler back.
I like
Remember?
Kirk,
No, I don't know.
but I don't think he's the guy.
I'm just shooting random
But I don't
examples
think
here.
he's
I
the
don't know.
guy.
I don't know. No, I was just shooting a random name because like he was like not an advisory coach, but he was he was an assistant coach. So it was a something I forgot the title that he had with the Canadians, but it was something like that. I don't know.
Imagine Chris Nolan decides to be a coach one day.
I don't know. I think Chris Nyland likes doing his podcast now that he's joined the Sick podcast
Yeah,
family.
for sure.
So
But I'm just like picture me and the bench is crazy.
that would be nuts.
But yeah, I think that's what's missing. I think it's the veteran experience behind the bench is
Yeah,
what
could
we
be.
need.
Could be. Anyways, we'll see. But that's all I got for tonight.
Same here.
Awesome.
Until next time.
Close it out. Close it out.
To our listeners out there, I hope you enjoy what you hear and what you like. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok.
Maybe Blue Sky now. Maybe
Blue
this
Sky's
whole
first
this
time I
whole
hear
new platform. Everybody's joining Blue Sky. Like yeah.
just see where that takes
So
us.
we'll see where that goes. Yeah. Yeah.
You can like and subscribe our channel on YouTube if you want to see our pretty faces. Please leave us an honest rating. We want to hear your thoughts and comments about us. It's the only way we'll get better. And hopefully the upcoming post game shows will have better energy and excitement.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
hopefully on Saturday. So the Canadians will be. are going to host the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday, and they're supposed to honor Shea Weber, who made into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So hopefully, if they could win it for their former captain, I think guys like Suzuki and Caulfield will be motivated. Anderson, Gallagher. Yeah,
Price should
hopefully.
be at this game too. It's gonna be.
Hopefully. I think it would be great. Let's hope for a
Hopefully we can
win.
turn this. Let's hope to turn this season around. I mean, it's still early. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the. Yeah, it's not the end.
It's true. It's not the end of the world. That is very true.
Not the end. We still have hope, but you never know.
You never
Until
know.
next time, ladies and gents.
Bye now. Good
Good
night. That was good.
Okay, yeah, I like it.